Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the most disturbing version of our current predictions for the King and Queen in the Ring. Yes, indeed. This weekend, ladies and gentlemen, we will be watching, hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know if anyone watching it live. Anyone here going to be watching King and Queen in the Ring live? It's like a
Unfortunately
5
not.
p.m. start, like something like that, isn't it?
I'll be there.
Yeah,
Rogers
5
is
p.m.
too busy banging his way around Africa. Not because it's not a racial thing, it's because his penis quite literally extends to Africa. I mean, it's just the way it is. But at least that's where it currently lands, at least. You know those heat maps that they have, like for like weather things? That's yeah, they just follow him around. When when they kind of like NASA's like, we saw a huge object in the ocean. It's not a kaiju, it's not a leviathan, it's Roger's dick. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Aaron Nix, the king of shithousery and the Egyptian death machine. Joining me to predict King and Queen of the Ring this weekend in the lovely and obviously very democratic region of Saudi Arabia is, of course, the man who puts the wood in Bollywood, Tanvir.
God save our gracious king. Nah, fuck that. Hello everyone, how we doing?
No, fuck that. Hello, how are we doing? Yeah, terrible. Yeah, emotionally terrible. Everything else, yeah, fine, I guess. Yeah, not too bad. Also joining us, ladies and gentlemen, from the set of Raw from last night, because apparently he was an extra on there. Apparently midget wrestling is back in town. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Scotland's very own Claymore, at least localized, because the other guy's too busy making a lot of money. Is of course the man whose mama's milkers could literally feed an entire colony is, of course, Sean McKenzie.
Boom! How are we doing tonight?
But have you noticed how he started flexing a lot more? Like he's just like, oh.
My ego is just going.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I ain't going, whoop, and that's your height, sunshine. Enjoy being fun. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us from Tanvir, did you just interrupt me?
One. That's
yes,
one.
he did.
That's 10, cunt. Now get on with it. We have a new thing in place where every time Tanvir interrupts me, which is quite literally like 50 times a fucking hour, he has to do his little wrist pump. So it's kind of beneficial for both of us. His wanking arm and also for our fucking sanity. And joining us, ladies and gentlemen, one half of the IWE Tag Team Champions, hopefully not for long, one very extremely aggressive heavyweight champion of BCD, ladies and gentlemen, the man with the girth that can be seen from a satellite from space, ladies and gentlemen, the history maker, the main event, the all-star assassin, and I have it on very good authority that Roger Sears is now the official partner of Lunar Tricks. Ladies and gentlemen, is of course Ichiban #1, Roger Sears.
Dear God.
Fucking hell.
Jesus Christ, Tanvir. At least I was having a bit of a fit when that introduction was happening. You went full on slobbered off the 5,000 with that one.
Excuse me, he is referred to as the sloppy toppy 6900 driver. Roger Sears, how are you feeling today? This is the first time I've seen you smile. You're right.
I'm here.
Thank you very much. Wow, talk about ringing endorsement of the Wrestle plug. I'm here. Yeah. Wow, ringing in the new year, this guy is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's King and Queen in the Ring this weekend, so we're going to quick fire, give our predictions and preview, of course, this weekend's pay-per-view. Now, we are recording this on a Tuesday night because I'm busy, unfortunately, the rest of the week. I say unfortunately, it's not unfortunate at all. In fact, I like being busy. Fuck you, get a social life, touch grass. But there are five matches, currently on tap. Fingers crossed they're going to keep it at 5. But it is Saudi Arabia, so I'm sure they'll probably have some sort of elimination chamber to start the show. Right. Now then, moving on, before I get into any more political trouble, we start with the WWE Intercontinental Championship triple threat. Sami Zayn defends the Intercontinental Championship against Chad Gable, with Otis at ringside, apparently, and Bronson Reed, the big mama jammer of professional wrestling. Tanvir, who do you have in the Intercontinental Championship matchup?
It's hard to call, but after seeing that Otis is going to be over as well, Sami Zayn's going to retain, but Otis is going to turn on Gable. I think that's going to be the story coming out of this match.
Ooh, spicy. Just out of curiosity, who's got a TV on in the background? I reckon it's Roger Sears. I reckon he's probably his wife in the background. You're not speaking to that piece of shit, He's not allowed in my in jokes, ladies and gentlemen. In jokes. Things we're speaking to you, Roger Sears. Roger Sears, what do you think? Who is going to walk away from the province of Saudi Arabia with the Intercontinental Championship?
I desperately want it to be Chad Gable, but I believe it's going to be Sami Zayn retaining.
Yeah, bearing in mind that he's also like the Arab ambassador and he speaks Arabic. And now he's, remember when he came out and had the full robe on and everything, dressed like my dad? Very impressive shit. Sean McKenzie, who's coming away as the IC champ?
I'm very much the same, Sami Zayn. Given the whole religious side of things and what he did last year with the tag team champions coming out with full robe and everything, you could see the same sort of introduction he did, and he's just going to walk out as sort of like not a hometown hero, but a hero for the people in Saudi Arabia. They're not going to do an upset victory because I don't see the money in it.
Just what Saudi Arabia sees the money in everything, pal. If it's soaked in the blood of American politicians, am I right? Oh yeah. Anyway, I want Bronson Reed to win. He's my favorite out of the three, but it's obviously going to be Sami Zayn. I don't see any benefit really in changing the belt this early on, especially post WrestleMania. And also, this is kind of like a B-Tech PLE. I know that the Saudi fans will be fairly rabid for it, or at least the men's matches, but I'm not really that bothered, to be honest. I think the match would be good, though. The match would be excellent, obviously. You'd expect it to be with 3 world-class workers of that nature. But Sami Zayn to retain all round. That's 4 people on board with that prediction. Now, moving on to the Women's World Championship. Becky Lynch defends against arguably the hottest thing that has ever been produced in the history of anything, Liv Morgan. Becky Lynch or Liv Morgan leaving Saudi Arabia as the Women's World Champion. Roger Sears.
Believe it or not, I'm going Liv Morgan. I actually think the only reason that Becky won it was so that they can get more heat on Liv by beating her for it. Not that I really think that it gets her more heel heat. I think it might be in their eyes it does. I genuinely think she was just transitional champion, so that they can build to Liv versus Rio when she's back. So I'm going Liv Morgan.
Interesting. I remember last week on the State of Wrestling Dress, you said maybe Becky winning and then maybe losing it at a more localized PLE, potentially Glasgow, because obviously you got Clash at the Castle next. But you're going all in on Liv Morgan.
I am, yeah.
Sean McKenzie, who is going to leave Saudi Arabia as Women's World Champion, hopefully with their body intact.
As much as I want Liv Morgan to win, I am going to have to steer towards Becky Lynch. I do think that they're not going to put the belt on Liv in Saudi Arabia. I think it's going to be a bit more of a different PLE, as you say, Clash of the Castle. Maybe thinking possibly then or SummerSlam, one of those two, but not at King and Queen of the Ring.
Tanvir, what do you think, mate?
It's tough to call now considering what's happened with Queen of the Ring, but I'm joining yourself and Roger and full send in for Liv Morgan. I think it's her time. I think
it's always Liv's time.
I think she needs to win more, and like Roger said, it's set up better for Liv v Rhea down the line as opposed to because Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, they're both Irish, let's do the Irish thing. That can wait, whereas Liv and Rhea could night after Mania and then the injury. So I think Liv Morgan winning here would be the better move.
Fair enough. Yeah, a little part of me thinks Becky Lynch is going to retain for now because they have such a fucking hard on for Becky Lynch throughout everything. But I will full send on Liv Morgan because she's bae. So I shall pick Liv Morgan. So that's 3-1 with Liv Morgan. And obviously, less said about Liv Morgan, the better, because ultimately I could spend an hour talking about all the disgraceful things that I could do with Liv Morgan. Most of them you will probably already heard of from our boy Mad Dog. All right, moving on. The Queen of the Ring tournament. Right now, we have Lyra Valkyria representing Raw. The SmackDown presentation will be crowned this thank you very much, will be crowned on Friday. He's so proud of that transition, isn't he? So the Queen of the Ring final takes place. It will be Lyra Valkyria, of course, as I've said, representing Raw, and she will face the winner of Nia Jax and Bianca Belair, because spoiler alert, Jade Cargill lost by DQ, which by the way, fucking cool, suck my dick. Tanvir, seeing as you're such a Queen enthusiast, perhaps you'd like to tell me who you think is going to leave Saudi Arabia as Queen of the Ring. I'm assuming the loser gets beheaded, by the way.
Fucking hell. Is it because they're women or?
Well, yeah, yo, the joke's right there. Don't make it any worse.
I'm gonna.
Already in enough trouble.
I'm gonna be a bit weird here, and it might not be popular.
No change from usual. Then.
No, I've got a gut feeling here, and I'm going for Nia Jax for some reason.
Oh my god!
I think for some reason it's gonna be Nia. Like
Really?
I've just got a bit like you don't want it to be them, but you've got that gut feeling of like I think they are gonna go that way.
Is it in this? Are you going with the line of thinking of the Saudi military will have a harder time taking her down than any of the other women's roster?
She is Samoan.
Everyone's laughing because you know how. It's not because I find like any abuse of women funny. It's because we got a rip on Saudi Arabia. Come on, man! Like it's terrible.
Plus, I feel out of us four, you're the only one who can do it because you've actually been there and also.
I have indeed been to Saudi Arabia, and when I went, it was even more aggressively fucking right wing towards men, like a lot more, to the point where my mum wasn't allowed to leave the house without me. Pretty terrifying. Yeah, it's anyway. Without getting too political, Sean McKenzie, who's winning Queen of the Ring?
I think they're gonna do some kind of Irish thing, and they're gonna go with Lyra Valkyrie. And I reckon she's going to win it, and then she's probably going to go on if Becky Lynch does retain Clash of the Castle. You're going to see those two most likely go at it. I know I said earlier that you could see Liv Morgan take the belt off of Becky Lynch at then, but now thinking about it, I think they're just going to do Lyra Valkyrie versus Becky Lynch at Clash of the Castle.
Roger Sears, fancy an all-Irish affair at Clash at the Castle? Apparently not, because you got Liv Morgan winning. So.
Yeah. I actually agree with Tanvir. However, there's more of a reason to it as to why I think that. And I think she's going to be the first female member of the bloodline.
Oh, God. Fuck it. I was speaking to my mate Nick Payne about this today. My mate Nick rings me out and he's like, they need to put her in the bloodline. I'm like, no, please, for the love of God. Are they going to bring Tamina in as well?
But I think that's where they're going.
No,
could end up being pretty good but the biggest problem, she can't speak if she joins the bloodline. That's one thing she can't do because it'll just be really funny because you got like Roman Reigns and fucking Solo's gonna and everyone's like, no, Jackson. That's just like all right then, mate. Shut up. That's interesting pick to be fair. I'm going to go with the Cinderella story, and I quite fancy Lyra Valkyrie pick up a win here. They're obviously very hot now, and I'm very excited for her that she's in the final regardless, because that's a massive deal. They're not going to send too many women over to Saudi Arabia, and if they are, they're going to make sure they send what they deem to be a draw. So they obviously see a lot of potential in her, potentially maybe her taking over from Becky Lynch long term. Maybe Becky's indicated that she wants to take a bit of a step back. We're not entirely sure. But yeah, Lyra Valkyrie. And also, I look at, Bianca Belair doesn't need it. She's got to get past Nia Jax. Is she going to? Possibly. I mean, if the better wrestling match would be Bianca Belair and Lyra Valkyrie by some margin, with all due respect to Nia Jax. She's not a terrible worker, but she's not great either. I did think she did a really good job actually main eventing in Australia against Rhea Ripley. She presented a fair amount of danger in that, but I'm a sucker for a Cinderella story. So as far as Queen in the Ring is concerned, I think we are definitely in for Lyra Valkyrie. I'm sorry, did you just interrupt me?
No, I thought I was trying to.
Like an interruption. Get your fucking wristers out. Go on.
I was trying to cut in before you transition.
I've been trying to cut before transition for years.
It was.
I hate myself.
I think the thing is too is that Bianca and Jade are still women's tag team champs as well. so that can come into play a bit.
I like the way if you say still, that only had it 2 weeks, and you're already like, yeah, change him.
No.
Yeah, get him off of him. Get him on new women.
Those belts have been dead for God knows.
Yeah, they
Fucking
haven't.
Mark.
Yeah, it is what it is. You just call Tanvir Mark.
I did.
Really? Says the man who literally stood outside a kebab house trying to offer a fucking 2-hand Jimmy to Mad Dog, please. You know, he's chatting more shit, mate.
That's a stretch.
Oh, please let me tell you all about my stories in wrestling business, Mad Dog. Love you. Hey, shut the fuck up. You are so
You
foolish.
know.
So coming
That's
from
a
a
stretch.
guy whose wrestling name was named after his trainer, like, yeah, please, by all means. Yeah, that's what I thought. You sit there and shut the fuck up like a good boy. All right, it is time for Tanvir to change his background because we're now going to talk about the King of the Ring final. As we went there. All right, apparently. And your winner, King Charles. Also, could you not have found a more moody and more intriguing image of King Charles?
It's the new painting of him.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Is he
Yeah,
soaked in the blood of all that came before him?
That's what somebody put amazingly. There's no blood on his hands. It's like, yeah, just like real life.
Damn. All right. Well, to be fair, it was Lizzie who executed Princess Diana, but we move forward anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, the King of the Ring final. I want to appreciate that conspiracy theory. It's the King of the Ring final. And so we already have one competitor set. Gunter knocked off Jey Uso on Raw, which was a big surprise to a lot of people. Not to me, though, because I had Gunter. You're welcome. So Gunter will face the winner of Tama Tonga or Randy Orton. It's a very unique pick. So, right, we're going to find out in a double header here who you think is going through on SmackDown this Friday, and of course who you think is going to be King of the Ring. Shawn McKenzie, who leaves Saudi Arabia as King of the Ring.
I think it's going to be Randy Orton. I think even though he hasn't got that much to, let's say, gain from winning King of the Ring because he's done a lot in his WWE career, I think they're gonna go towards that one, and Randy Orton and Gunther are gonna have a bang matchup, and then they're gonna lead to Randy Orton doing something, probably Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at some point.
Roger Sears, who is going to be King of the Ring? Dun, dun, dun.
I know who it should be. It should be Gunther winning it. But just like I said, where I think Nia Jax is becoming Queen of the Ring, I think Tama Tonga's winning it. And I think the Bloodline are going to be King and Queen of the Ring.
I think this is to try and give them more stature in the group so that they look stronger alongside the rest. It's
that's what I think they are doing.
Yeah, interesting. Tanvir?
King of the Ring general, baby. King of the Ring. It's gotta be Gunther, man. After the Intercontinental reign, and then he dropped it, and now having bangers with Sheamus, and now with Jay. Continuing,
really good match, by the way. Everyone should check it out.
Continuing the momentum. It makes sense for Gunther to win, and then potentially maybe challenge Drew after Clash at the Castle, or even challenge Cody potentially to be like, hey, I know I've been drafted to Raw, but I won King of the Ring. I want your belt.
Yeah, I have Gunther winning. I don't see any benefit in anyone else winning it. Randy Orton doesn't need it unless it's that kind of Cinderella story of like, here you go, have King of the Ring because it's the only thing you haven't won because he's won everything else, right? So it's like, it might make sense from that perspective. It is very intriguing because obviously Tama Tonga winning sets up a very juicy kind of extra for the bloodline, which would be quite cool. And also great for him being so early doors in the business, being crowned King of the Ring would be sick. If you're looking at crowning somebody off the benefit of pushing them more, then obviously Tama Tonga is your pick. But I feel like Gunter benefits the most. I think it would be very smart for them to kind of maybe reveal after the fact, oh, just so you know, written into the contract, the winners of the King Queen of the Ring get title shots. And therefore, Gunter then can challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Or he could just be, and he might be able to do a sort of Money in the Bank stuff thing where he's like, yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm all right to wait. Maybe Drew gets it back off of Damian Priest at some point, or God forbid somebody else. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. Maybe maybe they really do try and pull the trigger and have him go after Cody Rhodes, which would be fucking sick as well. But I still think that Gunter is primed and set. Obviously, he's got to be main event at Bash in Berlin, which is in August. That makes absolute sense. It has to be him. So yeah, I'd be curious to see what they do. But I quite fancy Gunter to win, and I also don't think it makes sense if he. The only way he could lose is if maybe interesting. It very much depends on tonight. If Tama Tonga wins and it's Tama Tonga versus Gunter, then it's got bloodline written all over it. They're gonna fucking batter him. They're gonna just all have to jump Gunter, and then possibly Imperium. That was my fantasy booking from last week, wasn't it? It was Ilya Dragunov joining Imperium and Dragunov, Gunter, and Kaiser Wilhelm, whatever the fuck they're calling him these days, facing the bloodline, which would be fucking sick. So, but then it's kind of like, but we also want bloodline versus bloodline as well. So I don't know. Great stuff for us because we have no idea which direction they're going. You're holding your hand up, which is adorable because you don't want to do more wrist flexes because you have tiny wrists. What do you want?
Do we think that Tama Tonga could potentially be winning because of his father? Because King Haku.
Haku didn't win King of the Ring.
I know he won it off, but
he won it off Savage, right?
Yeah, but it was always referred
Roger
to.
will update me on that. He's the king of all the old school knowledge. Who did Haku beat to be King of the Ring? You must know.
That's a really good question, actually, because I'm not sure if it was Savage, because Savage was still king when he got in that retirement match with Warrior at WrestleMania 7.
Let's have a look.
I think Haku was king before that. Did he not win it off of Harley Race?
Harley Race was never king in the ring, was he?
He was King Harley Race.
Yeah, but he wasn't. Remember we had this last week with the King of the Ring trivia.
Yeah, he didn't win a tournament though, but he was referred to as King Harley Race.
Well, yeah, that's more so because he's a god. Like,
Harley Race.
Yeah, I mean, King of Race.
Well, then Haku beat Hacksaw for it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if Hacksaw won a tournament though.
Oh, at the turn of 1989, Haku would engage in a feud with Harley Race, the former King of the Ring. So he didn't win a tournament, so he must have been crap.
No.
That's interesting. So yeah, maybe took it off Harley Race. Anyway, there's probably some old school fucking dork at home who's called Brian, who's like, I think crunching the numbers while eating Cheetos, and I have the answer, and you're all wrong, and I hate you, and why is Aaron Nick so fat? He has big tits, I hate him. Meh. Like, go on, cry some more into your mother's vagine. So yeah, that's your predictions for the. I like how that woke up Sean McKenzie. He was like, mother's vagine, what? Yes, indeed. Yeah, he's been trying to get back in that thing ever since he left. I don't blame him, to be honest. And would eat a mile of shit just to see where it came from. That is what it is. Oh dear. And finally, of course, King and Queen of the Ring is rounded out by the WWE Undisputed Championship matchup as Cody Rhodes defends against Logan Paul in the most predictable main event of all time, as Cody Rhodes will no doubt retain because Logan Paul is now no longer defending the United States Championship. So should we just all say Cody Rhodes and call it a day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Thanks for coming, ladies and gentlemen. That's your predictions. If you want to let us know what you think down below, should be a good pay-per-view. I'll probably watch it live because I've got nothing else to do on Saturdays. So that'd be a good laugh. Yeah. Not much else to say, really. What's everyone doing this weekend? Is anyone going to be watching it live?
I'll be there.
Hopefully.
You're going to be there, are you? Are you flying out to Saudi Arabia for this one?
Well, I'm not sure about that because Tesco don't pay me enough. So I'll be there, as in the case I'll be sat in this chair where I'm sat right now, just looking at my computer.
A shocking indictment of Tesco's economy that they can't afford to fly Sean McKenzie out to Saudi Arabia.
Absolute state of it.
It'd be really funny if they fly your missus out, though. She works at Tesco.
Yeah, she does.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, she does.
I'll tell you what, you're not getting her back if she fucking fucks out. Like, fucking hell. Jesus. I saw an ankle. Harlot. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the King and Queen in the Ring predictions. We will see you this Saturday. Also, like I said, let us know down below in the comments who you think is going to win these matchups. And of course, like I said, we are recording this on a Tuesday. So if you're like, oh, you missed a match, I don't care. We couldn't be asked to fucking record it on Friday because I'm busy. Simple as that, really. I'm busy all week, so suck my balls. So yeah, enjoy it, ladies and gentlemen. And from myself, from Tanvir, who has gotten even shorter since this podcast started, from Roger Sears, who of course has got even longer, if you know what I mean. And Sean McKenzie, we will catch you very soon. Stop flexing, you fucking dog. Swear to God.
Fucking
Do I need to
never.
bring referee
Oh.
on the podcast to show you how flexing is done?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. You're gonna have
He
to.
will annihilate you. Get Tanvir with a gun show. Oh, yeah. Fresh off of Virgin Media, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you very soon for more horrendous content for this shit awful podcast. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Fucking wave your hands, you little prick. Yeah, that's right.
Cheese vomit! Cheese!
That's actually really accurate.